Colonel Young is here. But there's a lot more to Louis than the Colonel. Here's Jennifer.
George, Louis Ferreira is one of those actors you just know. You like horrors? That's Louis in Saw 4, and there he is showing off his zombie skills in the remake of Dawn of the Dead. How about hospital dramas? Check.
Trust me, if I wanted to kill myself, I'd find a better way.
Louis done those too. That's him in ER. And if you're a fan of 24 like you, George, you probably remember Louis from that too. Yeah, Louis covered a lot of ground. He actually was born in Portugal and got into acting after his family moved to Toronto. Louis took his stage name early on, so you might actually know him as Justin Louis. He just changed his name back to his birth name after 25 years. Anyway, Louis done a ton on TV. Guest stints on both CSI and CSI Miami.
I wasn't going to let him get away with it.
They didn't get away with the chasing.
He played a serious wacko on the critically acclaimed Durham County. And yeah, that was him as legendary doc-maker Albert Maysles in HBO's much-talked-about remake of Grey Gardens. If there's still any question about Louis' versatility, on Star Trek Voyager, he even played a holographic tree. Really? Funny thing, he swore he'd never do sci-fi again after spending so many hours in makeup. But what do you know? He's back. With a lot less makeup this time, starring as Colonel Young on Stargate Universe.
Everybody can vote for Louis Ferreira. Hello, thank you. How are you, sir? Thank you for having me. Are you kidding me? It's a video. But you got to figure something out before me. Help me figure this out. So I was excited because I know we were trying to get uncertain. You don't do talk shows. You never do.
I kind of avoided them purposely.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, and I'm honored to be here. That's good, sort of.
But the thing is, I was under the impression we were booking my friend Justin Louis on the show.
Yeah.
And then I come into work, all of a sudden it's like, hey, you're interviewing Louis Ferreira today. And I went, who the hell's Louis Ferreira? You changed your name.
I did. It goes back to when I'm 19, and essentially all that happened was I was in high school, there was a friend, there was an open call, like in the Sun. I went in, Diane Pauley.
The Toronto Sun?
The Toronto Sun. Diane Pauley, it's Return of Billy Jack, that's the film.
Yeah.
Diane Pauley, who's Sarah Pauley's mom, is a casting director at the time. So I went in and I got the part, and she was like, "You got the part." And you got to remember, I'm living at Jane Finch.
But here's the thing about Louis. Just for people across the country, you don't know. The neighbor, you're sitting at home all across the country and you read about. Well, that's true, right? Like the neighborhoods in Toronto that end up in the newspapers, they're beautiful neighborhoods. I grew up very close to that.
Oh, you're a Chalk Farm boy.
Yeah, Chalk Farm boy. That's right. Yeah, but it's complicated. There are a lot of crime and some trouble. So that's the neighborhood you grew up in. Like you grew up in a rough town.
Represent rough, rough George. Yeah,
so that's you.
I speak a little patois, Yeah, boy, pass the ball, I had to do a little bit of that. I was great though.
Were you good at it?
I played ball. I was a big baller. Yeah, I had the two kinds of guys in the Jane Finch corridor, and I look back at that time like as so fondly because it gave me so much as far as like what I'm doing now. But there was the Jamaican ballers who I hung out with, and then there was the sort of like pot smoking white boys, which is nothing wrong. But I just went for the sports.
Right now.
That's right. Hello, guys. But I just sort of I sort of leaned towards playing the ball, and I played provincial ball for like 12 years.
Okay,
so I was all about it.
So you're from the neighborhood, and you get cast in this film.
Yeah, I mean, high school, and my mother's raising me on something like nothing, $400 me and my other sister, and I get the part. I'm like going, what? A part in a TV film? It's huger than I can even imagine. So I go in, and they say, okay, and I'm going to get you an agent. That's what Sarah Paul's mom tells me. So she gets me an agent. And they say, okay, what's your name? And I go, I am Louis Ferreira de Rocha Ferreira. And she says, I get this thing, right? And I'm like, I am Louis Ferreira.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And she's like, I am Baby Books. What the #1 book name? 1984.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin is a #1 baby name right now. How does Justin Lewis sound? Better than Lou Ferrari. That was like choice number 2.
Lou Ferrari.
Lou Ferrari. That would have been horrendous. So I ended up with that. I was so eager, and I was so in the green.
There's a lot of pressure on an ethnic kid in the beginning to get back in the age.
There is. And,
I don't go back though, because a lot of people built a hell of a career with this name, and I think it's good you went back, but why?
Because it breaks that illusion. Because everything it's just that, and not to get too weird, but it's an illusion, this whole thing of identity. For me, it's like, I don't think of myself that way. I've never thought of it that way. And I think at the end of the day, I mean, you can be one person get discovered overnight in this business. So that idea of adopting some identity that you carry over, it's great. My body of work is still my body of work, but a couple things happened. I lost my mom about a year and a half ago. And when it was one of those things where when she was on her deathbed and her and I had our time together, it was just one of those things where I just knew it was the right time. I'd been thinking about it for a while. I also have 2 kids who are in my life. And I was like, I want that name. I want them to see their dad's name. And there's been a part of me that's like, you come into your own. You know, it's kind of like you're like, yeah, I've arrived as a, let's call it a man, for lack of a better word. But, you know, it may be the right word, and it's a great place to be. And so that was part of it. That was what it was for me. But I knew it was time to, like, change and just go, this is who I am. It's always been who I am. And that Justin thing, it also allowed me to keep the sort of business, which I was always sketchy about in a way, separate from my sort of home life, you know, and that worked for me.
And now it's a hell of a way to kind of launch.
I'm sweating a bit. This is my first interview. I can't believe it. Oh, that's why it's fun to hide behind the characters. This real me thing. Oof.
Yeah, I know. And it's actually a clever balance that an actor has to walk, right? You don't want to be seen as you so much because you want to be able to play the character.
That's fun. That's why I became an actor. I mean, and it's all about the idea of escaping.
Are you a sci-fi guy? Because you're going to be
negative.
Negative. No, not.
No, not so much.
Yeah.
But I'm becoming one. I mean, we have a guy on the show, David Blue, who plays like the kid. I mean, he's typecast. It's unreal. Robert Carlyle and I will call and go like, what are you talking about here? Let's call David, you know, hey David, page 8. He goes, oh yeah, episode 14 of season 7 in the SG-1 series, there was this time machine that allowed people to travel, and you're like, just tell me what it means, just go now. You know what I mean? But he's the guy who we go to. But I'm learning, and certainly what I love about this particular Stargate is that these guys had a franchise for 15 years. And they said, we want to do a different type of show. Why venture off when you've got 15 years of a sort of established, successful franchise? They were, in my opinion, very courageous in taking this road, and I'm very proud of what we're doing, and I think it's just getting stronger and better.
It's not unlike the Law and Order series, where you can actually, if you build a relationship with, for lack of a better word, the universe with an audience, it's a shame to kind of take that away from them. And so when you walk into something that has, even though it's a fresh start, it does have a legacy. Does it provide any extra pressure, recognizing you're walking into an established franchise?
I think because it was going to be so different, I took it off. Yeah. We didn't have to come in there sort of prepared picking up the pieces. We just sort of knew we wanted to do something completely different. So both Bobby and I, when we talked about it, we're like, we don't want to be affected by the other show. And
Robert Carlyle was Begbie.
He's one of my favorite guys.
We were like train spotting, right?
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. Begbie doesn't do drugs. He does.
You guys know Bobby Carlyle. I mean, he's an amazing actor. Beyond that, a great human being who's, you know, we have the same ethics. We almost feel like we have parallel careers in 2 different countries, you know, because he's from Scotland, does his thing. And we met one day and we just like walked for 6 hours and chatted. I was like, this is great. I love Michael Ball's brother. It's pretty cool.
It's got to be real fun to be in that place now.
Oh, it's great. It's, you know, I'm the guy on the series who's had 11 series, you know. So it's really a great place to be because this is a built-in family. These guys have been together for a long, long time. Right. So you're coming to that. So you've already got this base. And to have this group of actors who are kind and the egos aren't there and the BS that tends to happen a lot of times, it's non-existent. And Bobby and I kind of are the veterans who set that kind of tone. So we just are having a great time doing a good show.
Right, the show is called Stargate Universe. Everybody, thank you very much.
Пропустил.
Thank you.